If you don't have the skills to do it, don't let that hold you back. Find somebody that does. You're listening to the Surging Forward Podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Valentine, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello again, and welcome to the Surging Forward podcast. This is Dave Valentine again for another fantastic episode to help you to succeed in the trades. That's right, my friends. I'm here to help create a positive view in a negative world. We all go through some of this craziness in this world sometimes and have tough weeks and good weeks, but this is a good time to be in the trades. So this is what this podcast is mostly dedicated to. Those of us that work in the trades, those that are trying to succeed in the trades. Last week, I republished an episode that was done back a while back in episode 86, and I talked about starting your own business. And that was a great interview with Mr. Mike Jezek that I had done, and I had done that one in person. As Mike is he owns a company called My Three Sons, and there's a big backstory behind that. It's pretty cool. But he talks about starting your own business, and it's possible. Now, that is one of the really neat things in the trades that you can do, and it's a great opportunity. And a lot of times, people do that. They could be the greatest electrician or the greatest HVAC guy or plumber, but it's very easy to do, but sometimes we lack the proper skills. So this week, I'm going to be talking about in episode 87, titled You Can Do It. This week, I have a great interview that I did a couple weeks ago with Kent Crook. He's from Florida, and he's with KC Rhino. And he's going to talk about how he can help you succeed in business. It's a very fascinating thing because one of the things you have to learn in business, you might be good at one thing, but not good at something else. But you really need to be good at many things. So you don't want to waste time doing things that you're not good at. So you have someone else do those things that are good, who is good at it. So you have them do the things that you're not good at, and you concentrate on what you can do, like making money, doing a great job, doing good service work, whatever it is that you do. So Kent has a lot of great things. Now, before I do start this interview, I'm going to play this. I was going to put this out last week, and I've been working on it all week to try to get this out. And you'll have to forgive me. My audio skills for clearing up audio is not the greatest. I try real hard to do it. I think mine come out pretty decent. But we did this interview over the phone, and I'm hoping that Kent and I are going to get together and do some more interviews, like as a host or co-host thing. We've been talking about that for some of the future things, but we're going to have to change some things around because, even though the audio is long distance, it's really hard to clear up over the phone. So you're going to hear a lot of distortions and some things like that. And, I apologize in advance, but it does sound a lot better than it did when I played it back in the first place. I can assure you when we were talking on the phone, and I had all my equipment set up. I even had my headphones on. Everything sounded great. I mean, I thought it was really good. But then when I come back on playback, it was like, oh my goodness. It's kind of amazing how that comes out. People take a real small breath, and it sounds like a hurricane coming through, and it's or a loud squealing noise. Some of those little squealing noise that you hear, you think it's on a chalkboard. And again, my apologies. That's actually a breath. So some of his audio might be a little distorted. So I want to apologize on that in advance. But still take the time to listen to this and pass it along. I think it's really going to give you some insights. He provides some contact information at the end. I would encourage you to check out his site and get a hold of him. Let him know where you found him at, and stuff like that. If you're even thinking about starting, he is just a great marketer with some of the things. He's turned me on to a couple things already and gotten me addicted to some things out there that I'm already listening to, some other different podcasts. And like I have enough time to listen to podcasts more and more. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this audio, and I hope you enjoy it. I look forward to your comments, and here we go. All right. Well, hello again, and welcome to the Surging Forward Podcast. It's good to have you guys back again for another great episode. I've got a real cool episode this week. It's a special one. I'm doing an interview with an individual. I know a lot of you guys ask me, how can you become successful in the trades? What does it take? I'm just a young guy out of school. I don't know what I'm doing, or, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I really want to go into business for myself or something, and I don't have the skills. So I'm talking to an individual now. I think you're really going to enjoy this interview. He's a business owner. He's an entrepreneur. He's had over 20 companies, and he's done quite a bit. And this is why I kind of like it, because very similar to some of the things I've done, except he's done it a whole lot better than I have. I'll tell you the truth. But been doing it for 20 years. He's had solar companies, payphones, electrical, plumbing, home automation. Now, that's a pet peeve of mine, because you guys know that I love automation. My whole house is automated, and so I've been trying to do this since the 80s. But he does IT, coaching, flipping houses, real estate. He's done it all, and he's a mentor. He's an example to people. I've been talking to him quite a bit on Facebook, and such an example to the community, which is what we need to do. It's about that servant leadership, my friends. So without further ado, I failed to mention too, he's got a wonderful book out there, and I'm hoping he's going to talk about that, about the Rockstar Networking. I thought that was fabulous. So without further ado, I want to introduce a great friend of mine that I'm hoping I'm going to be a hookup. I got to make a trip down to Miami with him. Kent Crook. Hey, Kent, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you, David. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to be on the Surging Forward podcast this week, and looking forward to hear some of the great resources that you can put across to our listeners here. Most of our listeners are almost all tradesmen, and throughout the country. So, how did you really get started in all that? What's your really backstory?
Well, actually, my first business was at 15 years old, and basically what it was is my mom was a realtor, and she managed apartment buildings. And when somebody moved out, she was paying this guy $300 to clean and paint them. And one day I go, Mom, I can do that. And she goes, yeah, I know, son, you can do it, but I can't pay you. I have to pay a company. And I said, well, then I want a company. How do I open a company? And she helped me form a company, and it was called KC Enterprises. And basically, at the time being, I had a moped. I was 15, and I would get a friend from school, pay him $50, and we'd go out and paint and clean these places on the weekend, and I'd make $250, and he'd make $50. And I said, man, this is easy. I don't understand why not everybody own their own business. So at a very young age, I learned about entrepreneurship and being able to work and make money. And it wasn't a skilled craft that anybody can paint and clean. I mean, that was easy. And so that was my first business. And my dad he was an aircraft mechanic, so I was around mechanics and automotive mechanics as a kid. So I got to play around with my bike and mess with the cars a little bit and stuff when I got a little older. But I did go to, my father was an aircraft mechanic, and I did go to aviation school because that's what he wanted me to be, a mechanic as well, like he was. And the first year was a book. The book was about 2 inches thick, and aviation taught you everything from, electrical to fabric to hydraulics to water flow to, all the aspects of a plane. You can't imagine how many things are on an airplane. And the second year, basically, we had a company called George C. Baker. I had to go work on planes. The time being, I was in school, so it was that program where you work, you go to school half a day, and then you go to a craft school, a trade school. And I was getting all greasy every day. I said, you know what? I don't want this getting greasy stuff. I was in the girls, and if I had to tell my dad, this isn't what I want out of my future. I wanted to do something else. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know I just didn't want to get all dirty and get greasy. I know aircraft mechanic at the time being was a great trade to be into. But so at the time being, I was working construction, and the electrician came up to me one day and said, "Hey, if you ever get tired of this, sweeping floors and stuff, come on over." And that's basically how I got started in it when I was probably 17 years old.
Okay.
And basically, that's where it started. 17,
Wow.
Started being a helper. Actually, it was I worked in a warehouse, and my first job was cleaning the warehouse and organizing the warehouse. And I had this boss, and I got to say, it's all about people, really, to where you're at and getting places. Because this guy, he saw something in me, and even though all I did was clean warehouses and kept it organized, there's no saying you're gonna be great someday at what you do. And I go, who, me? I mean, I'm just here cleaning the warehouse. And it started from doing the warehouse, and I became a helper, started digging ditches, and worked my way through the electrical trade.
I tell you, and you know what? That's a very similar story to a lot of them, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. We all have to start at the bottom sometimes, and you get that drive. And so, you had mentioned something before about how this is easy, and you didn't want maybe get with the grind all the time. What gave you the vision to actually go and say, hey, I can start my own company and do this? Where did that ever come to play?
Well, I got married at 19, moved from Miami to Syracuse, upstate New York, and I became an electrician up there. And I'd worked for a couple companies, and twice I'd gotten laid off right around the holiday season. It's like,
oh, that's when it usually is. Exactly. Yeah, it's always around the holidays.
What's the worst time to ever get laid off? Right before the holidays.
Yeah. It always seems that way. 2 kids at home. I got the same story up in Chicago. Try to find work around Chicago around Thanksgiving,
Yeah. And I started working for another company 2-3 months later, whatever it was. I never clicked it. So I was the guy who was always trying to figure out how to pay my bills without, so I knew I could work. I knew I was good. I knew I was good with my hands, and I figured things out on the mechanical ability. I started working for this company, and one day, these 2 guys had came up to me and said, "Hey, Kent, we're going to leave this company. We're going to go start our own company." And I don't know what made me say this, but I said, I can work for anybody. I said, if you give me a percentage, I'll go with you. And I said, just give me 10% a piece. That's 20%. You both own 40, and I'll do it. And they said yes. So it was John, Fred, and Kent, and it was called JFK Electric.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And so I was probably 23 years old at the time being, and I became a partner in a business, and really all I did was work. I mean, they to get the jobs, and I was just a guy. One guy was a supervisor. He was old, and I knew he was like 55, 60, so I knew he'd retire in a few years, 5 years or so, and then I'd buy his percentage or however it worked out. And it was me and that Fred were doing all the jobs, and I got a very young age too. At 24, I got thrown on an apartment complex. And talk about, it's an apartment, so it's a really 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, and it's a pretty simple thing. But when you're doing these apartment jobs, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not till the 3rd or 4th building that you find out, hey, they're making a mistake and every one of them was wrong. But it never did happen. I was able to knock them out, and so that was a great experience. And then I got tired of the cold weather. I just couldn't coming from Miami and living in that freezing cold. It's like, why do people do this? So I finally convinced my wife to move back to Miami, and I basically walked away from that company. But at a very young age, I got into a partnership with a couple guys, and I kind of learned it. To me, I'm a guy who didn't go to school. I learned it by hands-on and just by working with people that have been in trade.
That's a key.
Learning the craft.
That's a key right there. I admire that, because I always tell people I have nothing against college, and I always wanted to get my electrical engineering degree, and guess what? I still don't have it, and I work for an engineering firm. So, imagine that. But it's nothing wrong with college, but sometimes, you can make a good living working with your hands. So what happened? How did you get started with the thing you have going on with KC Rhino? What's that all about?
Well, let me finish a little bit about. So after I moved back from Syracuse, I moved to Miami. I got hired onto a payphone company, and within 3 days, I knew nothing about payphones, but I knew electricity. I knew electricity to the booth. But in 3 days, they put me in a truck with 20 phones and sent me up to Gainesville. And I mean, it's just another thing I figured out. So after that, for 6 months, I said, hey, I can do this on my own. I started that business, which is in '86, which is a payphone company. I built and sold it. And later on, electrical company, and then and then I got into the solar business, built a solar company as well. So I realized early on that I might be great at what I can do. You might be great, and the guy next to us might be great. But if nobody knows about it, what good is it? You have to market, you have to brand. So I learned about marketing and how to get your phone to ring and how to, first thing you do is when you're starting out in business, you do a job, it's word of mouth, and you're going slowly along. But I was smart enough to join because I knew that there was a lot I didn't know about business, and I wanted to learn. And going to school wasn't really an option because I didn't have the time. So I had to work and pay bills.
Right, exactly.
But I did join a couple organizations, and they were expensive. I mean, like $15,000 and $1,700 a month, and you learn these things. And that's why I learned about the booties and the badges and uniforms and the things I learned. But I spent a lot of money on myself trying to figure this business world out of how to do it. But one guy once said to me, "Hey, let's do it." So, and I got a great name. It's KC Electric. He goes, "Have you ever done a blind test, a blind study?" I go, "No, what's that?" And he goes, "Well, basically you call 100 people in your area that you work in, and ask them the name of an electrician, a plumber, and an electrician, plumber, and AC guy, and see how many people know who you are." But that made me realize I never did it, but it made me say, "Hey, I've got to do something to brand myself so people know who I am, know that, like the Golden Arches. Everybody sees the Golden Arch, they know it's a McDonald's."
Right.
So that's when I started out marketing and figuring out this marketing world because, and I got in, I did some new construction for a while, but I stopped doing that. I got into service 25 years ago, service and repair, and I realized the niche that was there was a great niche because what I loved about service and repair was somebody has a problem. Their panel's sparking, their light's not working, they're having a party and need a fixture installed. And then I go and my guys go and show up and we do the job, and they're happy and they pay my guy, and then I'm happy because I got paid. So it's a great world to be in. And so, being that I've had several businesses now, and I realized I was good at getting the phone to ring. And the one thing I really didn't like my application is running the day-to-day of running a business. I like the branding, the marketing. I like touching customers, but when you start growing, you start having to deal with employees, and then employees don't come to work, or okay, now we're short on money because somebody's not paying. I got to go find money, and it got out of that being able to service people and help people. So it's actually 5 years ago was when this Casey Rhino concept came to mind. And at first it was called Light Up Your Biz. That's where I first started out.
Okay, yeah, I did see that. Okay.
Right. And Light Up Your Biz, I was actually, I was at a networking group. And let me tell you a little bit about networking groups. And this is something all contractors should tap into. And I cannot believe that they're not tapping into networking groups. And networking groups I found 15 years ago. And I happened to go to one of them, and I'm sitting there in the room, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm that guy in the corner that knows nobody, and everybody's talking to everybody, and there's all these groups and stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But then I realized, hey, there's a bunch of realtors. They could probably use an electrician. A bunch of financial people. They probably don't know how to hang a fan or fix it. They probably need an electrician. And hey, there's a shirt guy. I always want a shirt with my name on it. I wonder if I can get a deal on that. But I realized, what wasn't in the room? There wasn't a single contractor in the room. Wow, look at 150 people that I could possibly get work from them in some way or somehow. So, but it just doesn't happen overnight. You have to keep going, and people have to get to know you because people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust.
Uh-huh.
So I joined the chamber. Next thing you know, I got a job, and I got 5 jobs, and I got 10 jobs, and actually that was my beginning of growing from 2 guys and 2 trucks to a company that had 18 trucks and 38 employees.
Wow.
On service and repair, because at one time I was involved in 8 different chambers. And that's what I would do. I'd go to chambers and I'd get jobs, and people know me because somebody always needs an electrician or a neighbor needs an electrician. And I would never say that I was good or I wasn't that kind of a person. I did this job and I do that job and I do that. I would just talk to people and get to know them. And through knowing them, somebody would, 80% of the time, somebody would walk in and say, hey, Ken, your guys were at my house yesterday. They were great. They came in, they cleaned up, they got done quick. I mean, your guys are great. And here I am sitting with 5 strangers and somebody comes up. So I think I'm paid for that kind of marketing. Mm-hmm. So there's a different way to market your company was through these networking organizations.
Yeah.
So it's something I really love doing and enjoy doing. And then I decided to light up your biz. I was at a networker. I'm sitting at a table with like 5 people. And I told them that, that everybody knows that I market really good. I said, I'm going to start coaching people and helping them. And at that table right there, 3 people wanted to give me a check. And I was going to charge them $500 a month, and there's no contract. And if for 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. And I said, well, give me a week and I'll get back to you. And I had to start a website and get a name and get all that. I had nothing at that time. And I started this coaching thing. And then 2 weeks later, it took me 2 weeks to put that together. And I started coaching. And I realized after the first month or so that I didn't really enjoy coaching the personal one-on-one coaching, because next thing you know, people tell me that, their wife's cheating on them or what.
You become a counselor now all of a sudden.
Right. I wanted to help them grow their business. Not, I know those things are important in their personal life, but so I put that on the shelf for a little while, and then I relaunched as Casey Rhino, and I had some marketing company, but they didn't do it great, perfect, because to me, if I'm going to do something, it has to be done 100%. So it wasn't until I found this company called Spectrum Communication that came into my world, and basically I finally found a marketing company who really knew how to market, because there's so many marketing companies out there that say they can do this and get your phone to ring and all that, and you're just burning through money because they really don't know what they're doing, but they're saying they know what they're doing. So once I realized that the company Spectrum really knew what they were doing, I realized I finally had that one piece that I was missing. Because what most companies need is a phone to ring. If your phone's ringing and business is coming in, you're making money. Well, you should be making money. So that's what I decided, okay, now it's time. I can launch this Rhino, and I finally have the pieces of the puzzle together. And I'm still putting other pieces together. Like I have an HR company, because everybody might need some HR, or there's a marketing and branding or graphic design, or even a CPA firm that helps on accounting and doing your profits and loss. And people don't realize that most contractors didn't go to college. I would say 80%, 85% didn't go to college.
And I have to agree with you on that.
Good with their hands, right? They were good with their hands. Mm-hmm. They liked what they do, and they had a boss they didn't like, or they said, "Hey, I can do it better than my boss," or whatever. And they go out and they become an electrician, plumber, roofer, a fence guy, a pool guy, whatever it might be. But there's so many other aspects.
They don't know how to run a business. Yeah, that's usually the big thing. Yeah, they struggle with that, and they don't understand the cost. They don't understand the accounting or any of that, and they just jump right into it. So you're kind of providing, some of that stuff that they just like to work and get the work done, and you're providing some of that stuff on the back scenes for them then, right?
Exactly. Actually, every aspect. I've had 3 electrical companies, and they've all been million-dollar or multi-million-dollar electrical companies, and so I learned what was important in business, and obviously number one is your reputation, your name, your brand, what you're building. That's probably the most important thing of anything you do in life, is your word. And so as you go, that's number one. If you tell somebody you're going to be there, make sure you're there. If you tell you're going to do it, make sure you do it. But moving forward from that, it's those other things that, you guys, doing the job is, I would say, only a third of it. Maybe only 20% of it, because you got to know how to bill, you have to know how to pay taxes, and you make that money. You got to know how to do accounting. You have to know how to spend on marketing. I mean, the average that company should be spending on marketing is about 10%. Mm-hmm. And so if you're making $100,000, you should be spending $10,000 on marketing. Mm-hmm. If you're doing $1 million, you should be spending $100,000 on marketing, because you got to grow, you got to build. Now, if you're a 25-year-old or 30-year-old company, then there's a difference. You spend 4 or 5% because you've been around, you have a reputation, and everybody knows you. But most of us who start out don't realize that word of mouth is only going to get you so far.
Yes.
Exactly. And another thing is that at some point you want to get out of a truck. I mean, that was one of those harder points for me, but once I figured that out, and once I figured out how to get out of a truck, because I knew that when I was running a truck, I could make $1,000 to $1,200 a day. Easy. That's the number I could make myself when I was out there, me and a helper. But when I finally figured out, hey, I hired a guy, and he was actually better than me. And it took me, he was my helper, and I realized in a week that he was better than me, so I bought another truck. And I put him in a truck with a helper. And now he was only, because I had to pay him and pay his helper, I was only making $600 a day, or maybe $7, whatever. I wasn't making the $12 that I could make. But I'm thinking, hey, I don't have to work. And at the time, I still was running a truck, and I was like, here I am making $6 or $7 to somebody else. I'm just bringing in the jobs. I'm making sure they're getting done correctly, but someone else is doing it. So that was the beginning of realizing that I had this niche that I could help contractors grow their business. And it's something I love doing.
There's a gratification to it when you're helping other people.
Yeah, and for years I've done it, and I'm probably one of the only contractors that has 8 to 10 of my employees who've gone on their own and started their own business.
Now, okay, let me stop on that for a minute. That's a fascinating concept. So, you have helped your own employees start their own business. Now, I talk to so many people about that. They go, "Oh, I don't want to teach the guy below me because he might know more than me and take my job." You ever hear that?
You hear it a lot. But to me, I'm like, I want to help people. I want people to do better. When people come to work for me, I start them up. Most people start people low. I start you up high. You can build yourself up from there, or you can bring yourself down. But it's all up to you to what you want to do.
Absolutely.
I want my employees to have a nice house and a car and a good life. And I basically teach them how to run their company. And some people stay around for 10, 15, 20 years. Some guys will come in a year or two. But I tell them, listen, I'm here to support you. And there's 3.8 million in Miami, so there's lots of people in Miami. I do work for maybe 100,000 people. I would say who knows what the number is, but just stay away from my customers because there's plenty of work out there. And I'd rather have other contractors, licensed contractors, doing the charging than what they should be charging.
Yes,
contractors absolutely. That you ask them, what do you charge? Because how'd you figure out your number? He goes, well, I call 2 people.
They have no idea what their costs are. They have no idea.
Oh, exactly. So, you got to pay $75 an hour. You're paying your technician $25, and you got to pay insurance, and there's now it's $35, $40 an hour, and people don't realize that they don't work all the time. They have to drive the job. They have to do estimates. So there's so many aspects of running a company. But so real quick back to my helping people get their job or being in business. The funny thing is, though, is that all 10 of these guys, and let's say 8 for sure, 100 for sure 8, are still out running one-man crews. They don't know how to scale. Because I basically gave them the concept of how to take a job, how to get a job, how to make money on a job, but they didn't realize the back end part of it. And it wasn't until one of the guys came to me and said, Ken, can you help me with this stuff? And I'm like, what do you mean? I just want to I want to go up there and work. And I go, okay. And so I said, okay, I can figure this out. So like me, I'm never afraid to try something more. So I said, okay, you pay me 10%, and I'll get your phone to ring, and I'll handle the payroll, and I'll handle the workman's comp, and I'll handle all the back end and stuff like that. And last year was the first year, it was a full year run. He did $290,000 in his truck. After me paying all his bills, he pays his own gas, his own insurance, his own tires, his own, all that stuff. He brought in like $150,000, I think it was. But really what he made is probably like $95,000 after he paid for his material and stuff like that. So I realized that I could, this is something that I could do and that we could do. And because I ran it through a model already, I realized 10% wasn't enough. This year is 20%, because there's a lot more work than required 10%. But I realized that I had the back end, and I was able to help a contractor or other contractors grow their business and run a business and to learn the things. And I know after 2 years, he probably will have it figured out by himself. And if he needs my help, I'm here. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. I enjoy helping people. I've never chased money.
That's a neat concept. And then he still has the opportunity to, when he doesn't want to work in the field after he starts making money, maybe he wants to start learning how to do the marketing himself and getting out there. But he has an escape plan. He has things working on the back end for him.
Right.
That sounds fantastic. So is this a concept that could work not only in Miami, this can work pretty much in any county nationwide, right?
Yeah, this product that I'm Rhino certified, it's basically you come to Miami for a day. I launched at $1,000 per class. It might go up to $2,000 in the next month or so. And basically, I give you a rundown of everything we can do and how we do it. You actually get to come to my office and see the operation in place. The guys come in the morning and loading their trucks and taking off in the day, and from everything, the marketing, branding, the profit and losses and balance sheets, and new marketing, with upselling, and teach people how to upsell and how to, to me, going to somebody's house to hang a fan, that's just to get you in the door. You can always, if you walk in and say, hey, Mr. Smith, I noticed, well, that you have some broken boxes. You want me to fix those while I was here, or is there anything else you might need? Or, have you ever thought about LED lights? There's always ways to make more money in every ticket. So, yes, so you come to Miami, you go to a 2-day training, and then you decide on what platform. There will be different platforms that you can get of our service. How much of my time, my company's time do you need to help you grow your business? Because I want people's business to grow. As you do, you want people to know the code and do things right. And most importantly, you've got to do the job right. You've got to do it right.
Absolutely.
You've got to get paid what you should be getting paid, what you're worth to do that job.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, that's awful exciting. And I think this is a fantastic concept because you can take one guy who's good at being an electrician. How about plumbers and stuff like that, or even HVAC guys? Would it work for them, the same concept?
Well, it will. I mean, I'm launching just with electricians, but I know down the trail in the near future, I will be able to help other contractors in the service industry help them grow their business.
Okay.
It's number one, it's customer service, and people often ask me, Kent, why you've had all these companies, you've done so well. What is your secret sauce? And you want to hear the funny story? What my secret sauce is?
What's that?
It's those things that our parents or our grandparents have taught us.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Say please. Respect people's property. Clean up after yourself.
Absolutely.
Show up on time. Answer your phone properly. I didn't say anything about being a good craftsman, a good electrician, plumber. So those are important, extremely important. But it's those little things that people kind of forgotten about. That
absolutely.
Everybody else, they don't care. They just want to get in, get out the done. They don't care about the mess they leave, or fingerprints on the wall, or So there's so many concepts of how to build a business and make a successful business, and it's not really hard if you get a little help. And I've had help getting to where I was at, and that's why I want to help people in return.
Well, how can people find out more about KC Rhino as we get real close to wrapping up here? Is there a website or a phone number they can call or something to get a hold of you?
Yes, it's kcrhino.com, which is KCRHINO.com. My new website is actually going live this week, which is a corporate site, which is awesome. My personal cell phone is 305-321-0852. That's 305-321-0852. And once again, kcrhino.com.
Fantastic, Kent. And you know what? First of all, I want to thank you for, serving those guys out there because you're so right. And those core values, that's one of the things we even talk about here at Surging Forward. That's one of the reasons I started this almost a year and a half ago, just doing this podcast, because it seems like we have a whole society now that's just concerned about me and what I need to do. And we've forgotten that, sometimes just saying please or excuse me or thank you or, what can I do to help you? It really generates so much more in your business, and it even helps your job to where you can enjoy it more. It doesn't become so much of a burden. We've kind of forgotten a lot of that attitude. So, but again, I want to say thank you for taking the opportunity, and I think this is going to be one of many shows. I really like what you're doing with that, Kent. I love the way that you're serving the public and, serving those that want to start their own business, because there's so many opportunities for young guys today to make a difference. We're in a generation that's kind of blocked out so many young people because they say they're not any good, but I can remember coming in the trade. They said the same thing about me about 40 years ago. And I've done very well. But, you got to work at it. Go ahead.
Right. You know what's awesome right now? This is that thing that people can tap into and make a lot of money at because people are moving away from the trades. And so if you want to step into the trade and do it right, you can make millions. You really can.
You really can.
So many people doing different things. Yeah.
Yeah, and finding skilled tradesmen today is very, very hard. I know the work in our area now, we're just struggling. They can't even find temp employees to do the work. And it's just, whether it's residential, commercial, or heaven forbid, industrial, you get into the control part and some of the highly technical stuff. I mean, those skills are paying $30, $40, $50 an hour, and they still can't find people. And so...
Yeah, that's the way it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's getting crazy.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to sign off here, and of course, Kent and I are probably going to be talking quite a bit afterwards. And so, if any guys want to get a hold of him, make sure you check out the website. And again, he put his personal cell phone up there. That means he really cares about you guys. I know I put my email out there, and I listen to a lot of you guys. You guys send me your emails, and I do a lot of the counseling on the side, Kent. I hear you about the emails. I get a lot of guys contact me about things that they don't want to talk about in the public, which is cool. But again, we're always here to help the tradesmen out there. So I want to give Kent one more opportunity. If you can give a statement to anybody out there, Kent, about what kind of opportunities out there, what would you say to encourage, the tradesmen that are listening out there?
That you can do it 100%. Have confidence in yourself. Get a little help and support from people that have been around and doing it, that you can do it, and don't get scared.
Absolutely. You can do it. Okay, my friends, that's part of our tagline also. Creating a positive view in a negative world. And you can do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview. Like I said again, I apologize for some of it being garbled, but like I said, a lot of great information there. I'll try to get the notes out on the podcast on the website, on the Surging Forward podcast. But I wanted to give his website out again. It's KC Rhino, RHINO.com. And you'll find some good information. I know he's in the process of getting that website redone. And as of the process of this podcast, I'm not sure what the status of it is, but I know he's getting it totally redone. Puts a lot more information up there. But he also gave his phone number out, and I wanted to give that out again. 305-321-0852. And again, tell him you heard us on the Surging Forward podcast if you give him a shout. But also check him out on his Facebook page. You could probably look him up on there and check that out, as well as the Surging Forward Facebook page too. You'll find some information about him there also. But thanks for listening. And as always, I wish you the best. And if there's ever anything you need, my email is dave@surgingforward.com. Check out our website at surgingforward.com. We give you all your classes, any of your CEUs, or if you're looking to start your business, we can tell you help you get your contractor's license and get all the testing done for that out of the way. So keep in touch. And as always, my friends, stay safe and keep surging forward. Until next time, man. God bless you. All take it easy and stay safe out there, my friends. All right.